Let's dive right into this explainer. Look, if you're on the path to financial independence, there's a really good chance you are already laser-focused on cutting your expenses, optimizing your investments, and tweaking that savings rate. But today we're going to reframe how you look at the daily grind. We absolutely have to start treating your career as your single biggest financial asset. So think of this explainer as your own personal strategy session, pulled directly from the Choose FI framework to help you completely maximize your lifetime earning potential.
$5,000 to $15,000. Just let that sink in for a second. That right there represents the complacency tax. It's literally the exact amount of money you are leaving on the table every single time you accept a job offer without negotiating. And you know, over a 20 or 30-year career, that complacency tax, it doesn't just add up. It compounds into a massive, massive loss of your potential wealth.
So to stop paying that tax, we're going to run through a very concrete strategic playbook today. We'll start by optimizing your biggest asset, then dive into the art of negotiation, explore strategic job switching, identify some high ROI upskilling, leverage geographic arbitrage, and finally, wrap it up by building your long-term career capital.
All right, part 1, optimize your biggest asset. This is the foundational mindset shift you absolutely need to accelerate your wealth building. Here's the harsh truth. Just working harder is not a financial strategy. Putting your head down, grinding out those 60-hour weeks, and just hoping someone taps you on the shoulder, it's highly inefficient. Instead, making just a few deliberate, strategic moves, like negotiating effectively, picking the exact right skills to learn, and switching jobs at the perfect time is infinitely more powerful. I mean, these moves can literally add hundreds of thousands of dollars to your lifetime earnings, and you don't even have to add a single hour to your work week to do it.
Moving right along to part 2, the art of negotiation. This is basically the most immediate lever you can pull to bump up your income today.
Look, a lot of people are completely terrified of negotiating, but this simple 3-step process really demystifies the whole thing. First, before the conversation even happens, you need to document your market value using sites like Glassdoor or levels.fyi. Put together a one-page brag sheet that highlights your specific dollar value impact on the company. Second, during the actual chat, make your ask purely on the facts. No ultimatums, just data. And third, after they respond, handle whatever they say like a pro, and make sure you get everything in writing.
Now, if you're sitting there wondering what exactly you're supposed to say, you can literally just use this pro tip script. It frames your ask perfectly. Notice how it leads with factual contributions and solid market data. It doesn't say a word about your personal expenses, inflation, or the fact that your rent just went up. It is 100% focused on the tangible value you're bringing to the business.
But hey, what if they just flat out say no? If the company simply doesn't have the budget to meet your number right now, please don't just walk away feeling defeated. Drop this script right here. It immediately establishes a timeline for a reevaluation. You're basically forcing them to give you a roadmap to your dream salary, turning that no into a not right now, but soon.
Okay, part 3, strategic job switching. If negotiating is your right now lever, strategic job switching is for sure your highest impact midterm lever. Because let's face it, staying at the exact same company usually just gets you those standard annual raises of around 3 to 4%.
Let's put some numbers to this to see how it builds up over a decade. Say you stay put, you accept those 3% annual raises. After 10 years, your salary lands around $80,500, with your total earnings sitting at $689,000. Not terrible, right? But wait, what if you make 3 strategic job switches over that same decade, getting a 15% bump each time? Your final salary suddenly hits over $121,000. That brings your 10-year total to a massive $924,000. Guys, that is an astonishing $235,000 more in your pocket from the exact same starting point, literally just because you changed companies.
So you're probably asking, when is the right time to actually jump ship? Well, you should seriously pull the trigger when you hit any of these 4 milestones. If you find yourself doing work a level or 2 above your title but without the pay, it's time. If your manager straight up tells you that internal rules cap your raise at 3 to 5%, even if your performance is stellar, it's time. Or maybe industry shifts just made your specific skills highly demanded. Or hey, maybe you've just been in the same role for over 2 years. The data clearly shows that the biggest compensation jumps happen during role changes, not while staying within them.
Next up,
Part 4, high ROI upskilling. Making yourself completely indispensable means you've got to focus on skills that have incredibly high demand but very low supply. Remember, not all skills are created equal.
You can actually make highly mathematical decisions about your education just by comparing the time you'll spend studying to the salary premium you'll get back. Take AI and machine learning fundamentals, for example. That might take you 6 to 12 months to learn, but it can yield up to a $50,000 premium on your salary. Or what about cloud computing? Just 3 to 6 months of study could boost your pay by $20,000 to $40,000.
And here is a massive pro tip for you. You do not need to start from scratch. Seriously, if you're an accountant, please don't suddenly try to pivot into being a front-end web developer. Instead, you want to stack complementary skills. So if you're a software developer, adding cloud computing to your resume makes you exponentially more valuable. You're basically building this unique, highly specialized profile that makes it incredibly hard for an employer to replace you.
All right, moving into Part 5, leverage geographic arbitrage. Honestly, this acts as the absolute ultimate accelerator for reaching financial independence.
With the massive rise of remote work, your salary is no longer chained to your zip code. The math on this is crazy. Let's say you're earning a huge $150,000 salary in San Francisco. After paying that sky-high rent, you might only save about $45,000 a year. But what if you take a slight pay cut to work remotely for $135,000 and you move to a city like Raleigh or Boise, where housing is a third of the cost? Your actual annual savings shoot up to $72,000. You're keeping so much more of what you earn just by slashing your overhead.
Finally, Part 6, building career capital. Let's tie this entire playbook together and look at how you build actual long-term value over the course of your life.
I want you to think of your career capital just like an investment portfolio. Every single time you learn a difficult new skill, or you deliver a massive project, or you make a highly valuable professional connection, you're basically buying a share in your own career capital. And the more you invest in these scarce abilities, the more leverage you're going to have at the negotiation table. You totally flip the script. You go from being someone who needs a job to being someone that companies desperately need.
So your career capital is made up of 4 core components. You've got to develop those hard-to-find skills. You absolutely need a deep professional network. You have to maintain a documented track record, which is basically a running list of your projects and the exact dollar value outcomes you brought in. And finally, your reputation. Becoming known as the go-to expert in your field, that compounds silently in the background until it suddenly produces these outsized financial opportunities. And speaking of that professional network, please never neglect your network depth. The scale of this is actually wild. 70% of all jobs are filled through professional networking and referrals rather than just cold applications. 70%. Your network isn't just there for happy hours. It is literally the primary engine driving your future career growth. Well, we have covered a ton of ground in this explainer, from the exact word-for-word scripts you can use to negotiate a raise tomorrow, to the magic of skill stacking, all the way to moving across the country to take advantage of geographic arbitrage. Knowing that all of these powerful levers are sitting right there at your disposal, the only real question left is, which strategic move are you going to make first to accelerate your path to financial independence? Let that sink in and start plotting your next move.